Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who B&M figure review. In this review I'll be taking a look at the next History of the Dalek set, number 16 and 17, featuring a Time War survivor Dalek from Dalek and Dalek Sec from Doomsday. Taking a look at the packaging, we continue the style guide introduced back in the August wave. We've got the open window design on the front, with the logo on the top left, the TARDIS graphic underneath, the name of the set at the bottom, along with the limited edition sticker. At the top, where the name and the year of the story normally sits, we've got a bit of text saying New Series Gold and Black Daleks. And below that, there are two diamond pop-outs with the contents of the set and the scale of the figures. This set is another odd one, like the 5th Doctor's set, as there isn't an era to attribute it to because the figures are from both the 9th and 10th Doctor eras. The colour scheme for this one is grey, but also blue, so I'm a bit confused what that means. On the left-hand side, we have the name of the set along with the logo. On the opposite side, we have the logo, name of the set and the contents. On the back, we have the logo and name of the set again, along with the contents of the set, and most of the back is filled with a blurb about the stories and behind-the-scenes information. Inside the box, the Daleks are packaged in a vacuum-sealed blister, which we've all come to expect by now. I'll go in chronological order, so I'll start with the Time War survivor. This Dalek is based on the one from their new series debut in Dalek. Looking at it, you might not know that it's based on that story, for two reasons. The first is that it's just a bronze Dalek. The second is that it's actually not bronze, but gold. This Dalek has caused a bit of a stir over the colour of the paint used. I think it definitely looks better in hand, and it doesn't look bad at all, but it doesn't really look right either. It's definitely too bright for a new series Dalek, and I think if the hemispheres were this colour and the rest of the Dalek was darker, it would look much better. Anyway, starting at the top, the dome is this bright bronze with all the usual detail in the sculpt that you'd expect a new series Dalek to have. The dome lights are clear with silver outlining. The eye stalk is silver with clear rings and a black eyepiece with the blue eye in the centre. Something that's a bit weird is that the hinge for the eye has been painted in bronze instead of the black that it should be. This is a weird error as Dalek Sec is black. Perhaps it was just a bit too costly for another paint application. Moving down, the shoulder section is as you'd expect, and the rivets on the slats have been painted silver, which stands out nicely. The gun and plunger are silver, with the plunger being black at the end. For some reason, much like the eye hinge, the ball joints have been painted in the same bronze as the main body, instead of black. Moving down to the skirt, there's a nice bit of definition given to the hemispheres. It's a bit of a dirty wash, something which is present all over the Dalek, but here it really helps the hemispheres to stand out. Moving to the fender, this is the other part of the Dalek that's caused a bit of contention, with many saying it's far too light. In the promotional images it almost looks silver, but I have to say in hand it's much better. It's still probably a bit too light, but it doesn't take away from it. Unfortunately, the rivets haven't been painted here though. Overall, it's a nice enough Dalek figure, but there's a few errors which just means it's not quite as good as it ought to be. If the eye hinge and ball joints not being painted black was a cost-saving exercise, personally, I would have happily not had the rivets painted if it meant that they could be black. This figure's biggest problem is that it all just bleeds into one colour. The bronze Daleks have a lot of contrast and that's just not present here. But it's not all bad, and I'm very happy that we're starting to get standard new series Daleks in the new sculpt. Moving on to the second figure in the set, we have Dalek Sec, a figure that I know a lot of people have been waiting to be re-released in the new sculpt after its US debut years and years and years ago. So probably not a huge amount to talk about with this one. The dome is glossy black with the same standard new series dome lights and silver eye stalk. The entire neck section is matte black before the glossy black resumes at the shoulder section. Much like the other Dalek, the rivets have been painted silver, the gun and plunger are identical, the skirt is in the accurate matte black. Thankfully the early samples were incorrectly painted. The hemispheres are glossy black but less glossy than the rest of the Dalek. The fender is matte black, and much like the other Dalek, the rivets haven't been painted here either. Overall, I'm very happy to finally have this Dalek in the new sculpt. It's been a long time coming, and I think the figure as a whole looks great. As far as articulation goes, it's the usual Dalek movement. The dome spins 360 degrees, the eye stalk moves up and down, the gun and plunger are both on ball joints, and the Daleks are on 3 wheels so can move along a flat surface. Overall, this set is a bit of a weird one. For a start, it takes up 2 numbers in the history lineup, and I think I'd have preferred it if this set was just from Doomsday and the bronze Dalek was one of the other members of the Cult of Skaro. I'll be interested to see what they do with the new series sets going forward, given there's not a huge amount of variety beyond gun attachments for the Bronze Daleks. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one when I will be taking a look at the Deadly Assassin 3-pack.